Yo, Vlogadome video to Gary. Well, not to Gary. To the voices over there in New Jersey that say that they're alternatively Gary, or sometimes clubbed together in harmony singing, doing "I'm Gary." Nick, nick, nick. I'm Gary. Oh, I'm Gary. I'm Gary. So, do I address this video to the one particular voice or the others? Let's the others. The other ones that often go on about rational stuff. I'm going to play a bit of the last video that I've just finished listening to, which you clubbed together and made for me. The one replying to two ends of the stick. And there's one part in it that we know who was speaking, which one of you was speaking when this was said. And I'd just like to point out that normally the rest of you lot don't let people get away with this sort of thing. So why'd you let that snivelling bitch get away with it? This bit.
Nothing in here to be harmed. Or,
again, I'm going to argue, as I did in my metaphors, that yes, there is. That there is this thing, a whirlpool happens when you create this consciousness, and it now becomes a different kind of physics, a different kind of environment is created that has a substantive, it creates a harmable, it creates an identity, it creates a value component. This thing can now be harmed, is what happens when you create consciousness whirlpools. It can now experience a negative sensation, a qualitatively negative sensation. So that would be like, that's not like the puppets beating each other up, it's not like the strings breaking, it's like the theater burning down. If the theater, that thing means something, that shines a light to the external world, or that has a material component. Well, it doesn't have a material component. Production. But again, I'm going to argue that meaning would never, value could never exist in this fucking material dimension. Of course, value couldn't exist in it. And you're convicting value because it has to be invisible to the material world. Value will never be visible in the material world. It'll only be visible in its dimension. And its dimension is the dimension of understanding. And once you understand that this phenomenon is created, the illusion exists, it is an identifiable thing, it is distinctly different than that thing, it's created by a different mechanism, as I'm arguing, in the brain, the whirlpool exists. And once it exists, it is being stated as a premise that once whirlpool exists, value exists. You won't see it, but it's what whirlpools make.
Now, normally, when you've got your philosophical, logical, rational, intelligence heads on, you don't let people get away with that sort of thing. But you let the little dolly bitch get away with it again. I suggest you get your philosophical, logical boots on and give her a damn good stomping. Yeah? Here it is again.
nothing in here to be harmed. Or,
again, I'm going to argue, as I did in my metaphors, that yes, there is. That there is this thing, a whirlpool happens when you create this consciousness, and it now becomes a different kind of physics, a different kind of environment is created.
Get to her. And again.
That there is this thing, a whirlpool happens when you create this consciousness, and it now becomes a different kind of physics, a different kind of environment is created.
No.
When you create this consciousness, and it now becomes a different kind of physics, a different kind of environment is created.
No.
It now becomes a different kind of physics, a different kind of physics. A different kind of physics.
No. Don't just put her in the basket like I said last time. Give her a damn good fucking kicking. Right? The Metaphysical Miss. Give her a damn good kicking and throw her in a river somewhere. Put her in the basket and then throw her in the river somewhere. Don't let her out. Not in these conversations, anyway. She can come out and do her my little dolly thing when we do some psychological videos, maybe. But not down the rabbit hole, not in the philosophical. And I don't know what philosophy is, but it's normally you lot that call it philosophy. And normally it's you lot that call it philosophy because we don't let bleating little bitches like her say anything. Because she's just a useless bleating little bitch. So get a grip of her, will you? And keep her out of these videos. One more time.
It now becomes a different kind of physics, a different...
No.